Whether you look down over its rooftops or up from its narrow streets, Stone Town may be striking, but it also shows some wear and tear. Foreign traders used to meet here a century and a half ago. It's less than 2 square kilometres, but these streets were shaped by people from around the world. African, Arabic, Indian and European influences combined to create a unique Swahili identity. This town is now a listed World Heritage Site, but decades of neglect have left parts of it crumbling away. Earlier this year, one house collapsed completely. The owners had already moved out, but a workman was killed in the wreckage. Juma tried to rescue him.
I felt devastated. Stone Town is a historical town and a World Heritage Site. So when we reached a point where the buildings just fall down, we cannot be happy about that. We have to take care of our history, otherwise it will be lost.
And many of this area's historic buildings are at risk. The problems are so bad that in 2015, the city was warned its World Heritage status could be under threat. One reason is that few people understand how to conserve the traditional architecture. So one project is giving specialist courses to local builders and students.
Here we are learning how to scrape off the parts which are no good, the loose plaster. I wanted to do this training to develop my skills, and it means I don't have to wait for a job to be employed. Once I know how to do this, I will be able to employ myself.
The project is run by an Italian organisation and funded by the European Union. The trainees are learning techniques that are cheap and sustainable.
People ignore the problem until it is too late. Then they realize their building is in a bad state because they have not done any repairs. You know, these old buildings are like human beings. They have to be watched and cared for, which means doing constant small repairs.
As well as restoring historic buildings, the team repairs Zanzibar's famous doors. But their funding is ending, and more than 3/4 of Stone Town's buildings are still in a bad condition.
My advice is just for the government, if for the government building, to set a certain amount of budget that maybe every 1 year to renovate at least one building.
By conserving Stone Town's heritage, they're protecting not only the past, but the future.
It's called Stone Town because all the buildings were built by the stones.
City guides like 17-year-old Midi rely on tourism.
It helps so many people, this small city, but many people, they earn their livings for this small city as a heritage site.
For centuries, traders visited Stone Town to make their fortunes. But the city they left behind could now be the most valuable asset of all.